Good day everyone, my name's Eliza Pauline Edi Guzman from 11 Gas Aquarius. For today's video, I'm going to present to you my manuscript speech about Prime Minister Winston Churchill address to Harrow School on October 29, 1941. Almost a year has passed since I came down here as your headmaster. Kind invitation in order to cheer myself and cheer the heart of a few of my friends by singing some of our own song. The 10 months that have passed have seen very terrible catastrophic event in the world's ups and downs. Misfortunes, but can anyone sitting this afternoon, this October afternoon, not feel deeply thankful for what has happened in the time that have passed and for the very great improvement in the position of our country and of our home? Why, when I was here last time, we were quite alone, desperately alone, and we had been so for 5 or 6 months. We were poorly armed. We're not poorly armed today, but then we were very poorly armed. We had the unmeasured menace of the enemy and their air attacks still beating upon us. And you yourself had experience of this attack, and I expect you are beginning to be impatient that there has been this long lull with nothing particular turning up. But we must learn to be equally good, and what is short and sharp, and what is long and thought. It is generally said that the British are often better at the last. They do not expect to move from crisis to crisis. They do not always expect to each day will bring up some noble chance of war. But when they very slowly make up their minds that the things has to be done, and the job put through and finish, then even it takes months, if it takes years, they do it. Another lesson I think we may take just throwing your minds back to our meeting here 10 months ago and now, is that appearances are often very deceptive, and as Kipling will say, you must meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same. You cannot tell from appearances how things will go. Sometimes imagination makes things out of worse than they are. Yet, without imagination, not much can be done. Those people who are imaginative see many more danger than perhaps exists. Certainly, many more done will happen, but then they must also pray to be given an extra courage to carry this reaching imagination. But for everyone surely, what we have gone through in this period, I am addressing myself to the school surely. From this period of 10 months, this is the lesson. Never give in, never give in, never, never, never. Never in nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in, except to conviction of honors and good sense. Never yield to force, never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy. We stood all alone a year ago. And to many countries, it seemed that our account was closed. We were finished. All this tradition of our song, our school history, this part of history of this country were gone and finished and liquidated. Very different is the mood today. Britain, other nation, truth had drawn a sponge across her slate. But instead, our country stood in the gap. There was no flinching and no thought of giving in. And by what seemed almost a miracle to those outside this island, true, we ourselves never doubted it. We now find ourselves in a position where I say that we can be sure that we have only persevered to conquer. You sang here a verse of a school song. You sang that extra verse written in my honor, which I was very greatly complimented by and which you have repeated today. But there is one word in it I want to alter. I want to do so last year, but I did not venture to. It is the line, not less we praise in darker days. I have obtained the headmaster permission to alter, darker to sterner, not less we praise in sterner days. Do not let us speak of darker days. Let us speak rather sterner days. These are not darker days. These are great days, the greatest day our country has ever lived. And we must all thank God that we have been allowed, each of us, according to our station, to play a part in making these days memorable in the history of our race. That's all for my speech. Thank you for listening.